the lips are rounded. And when you say ah, they are unrounded. And there is something which is neutral when you say e, for example. So how do we actually describe a vowel? So you will call it front, half close, unrounded. So what you need to do is to articulate each one of the vowels, understand, experience, feel which part of the tongue is raised, the height to which it is raised, and the position of the lips. So every vowel sound in the English language will have 3 words to describe it. So if you look at it, front, half close, rounded. It could be central, close, unrounded. I'm talking about vowels all over the world. But for the English vowels, you will have to take each vowel. Look at the diagram that I gave you. Remember the vowel diagram. Look at where the vowel is placed and then try and describe it. That is the description of the vowels. Can you, after me, quickly repeat the sounds? To your left are the symbols. Remember, International Phonetic Alphabet. And to your right, we have the words. So we know how exactly each sound is pronounced. If you just want to look at the vowels, you can say E, A, O, U, right? You can do that. But what are we going to do? We are going to read the words. So could you repeat the words after me, my dear students? Bead, bid, bed, bad, barred, cot, caught, book, boot, cup, heard, about. Some of them we have in our languages, so there's no problem. With bead and bid and barred and book and boot and cup, no problem. We can say it quite easily. But when we come to words like, when we come to vowel sounds like bed and bad, or we come to a vowel sound like heard, or we come to that initial vowel sound in a word like about, which is not the same as apple. It's not a, but it's a. A very, very short vowel sound, my dear students. So what do we need to do? We are looking at the vowels. We are trying to understand how the vowel is articulated. And at the same time, we are looking at words, common words, words that you know, where the vowel is pronounced. So what do you have? Bead, bid, bed, bad, barred, caught, caught, book, boot, cup, heard, about. Those are the 12 phonetically accepted international phonetic alphabet on your left and the words on your right. I talked to you about diphthongs. Since I'm talking about vowels, let me also have some examples of diphthongs, but then we'll go on and look at the descriptions too. So what are the diphthongs? Say these words after me. I'm going to pause after each word so that you can repeat it. So what do we have? Play, ply, boy, go, now, near, poor, hair. I want you to realize, and only if you say it, you'll realize it, my dear students. So you have to say it after me again. We don't say play, we say play. A very, very short E sound at the end is play. So what do we have? Play, ply. So what are we saying in ply? The vowel symbols, the diphthong symbols at the left of the page slide will tell you what I'm saying. What is that sound? A, I, oi. So can you say that after me? Play, ply, boy. Say that again. Play, ply, boy. Go, now, near, poor, hair. So can we quickly try and recollect what we were saying? Based on part of tongue raised, front, back, central. Degree of raising, close, half open, open. Say the vowel sound and see what's happening inside your mouth. Can we practice this again? Brown, fair, share, slow, guy, boy, ouch, away, I. Why am I doing this? So that you can take out your notebooks after some time and try and write other words which have the same diphthong sound as brown, brown, ah-oo. So can you have town, noun, pound, found, proud, loud? You can go on. I'm not going to give away the other words. I want you to do this as your homework. So if you could very quickly jot down these words and listen to the pronunciation as I repeat them for you, you can go back and look at more words of the same kind. So what do you have? Brown, fair, share, slow, guy, boy, ouch, away, I. Say that again. So, having looked at the words, having tried to pronounce them, let us now see what happens when you have the vowel glides within a syllable. Why are diphthongs called vowel glides? Because there is a very, very easy movement from one sound to the other, and therefore it's called a vowel glide. And if you notice, the first vowel is longer, has more stress than the second vowel. So what do we have? We've got gate, gate, a, gate, cake, same, main, bite, shine, lime, rise, boil, point, voice, coin, home, show, load, coast, now, pound, shout, town. I've given you 5, and I'm asking you to check what the other 3 are. We've done so much of practice, so you should be able to get the other 3. You've got 5 here, so check and practice all of them. Can you quickly repeat after me? Gate, bite, boil, home, now. So you have 5 diphthong sounds. You need more practice? Say it after me. Gate, cake, same, main. Have you done that? Can we do it again? Bite, shine, lime, rise, boil, point, voice, coin, home, show, load, coast, now, pound, shout, down. 5 there. Check for the other 3 and practice. That brings me to consonants. What have we done so far, my dear students? We have looked at vowels. We have tried to describe them. We have looked at diphthongs, which are vowel glides. And now we move on to consonants. You would need to look at me. Please look at me and see how we can distinguish between the voiced and the voiceless. How do we do that? If you could place your hand on what is called the Adam's apple and say the following consonants after me. Place one of your fingers very lightly as we feel the pulse on your Adam's apple, that is on your throat, which will move up and down when you say these after me. They would move or they would not move. You will have to see whether they are moving. When you articulate P, what happens to your Adam's apple? What happens when you say b? Is there a difference between the two? Is what you will have to see. The second thing is the place of articulation. The bilabial, that is, your two lips come together. Bilabial. We'll be looking at it in greater detail after some time. But in English, the consonants will be described as, let's take one example of a consonant. You would need 3 words to describe it. For example, you would call it a voiced bilabial plosive, or you would call it a voiceless bilabial plosive. I'm referring to 2 consonant sounds, the p and the b. There is a place of articulation. That is, when you say this sound, when you say it aloud, remember a sound has to be aloud, it cannot be silent. So when you say it aloud, which part of your mouth is being used in the creation of that sound? So if you look at bilabial, it means the 2 lips. It means the 2 lips. So you have to bring your 2 lips together, put them together tightly, close the lips, and then what is the manner of articulation? It is a plosive. You probably have heard of and know the word explosion. What happens there? There is a sudden release of energy. The Diwali crackers that you use are the best example of how you stuff something into that little space, and when it is ignited, when you put a matchstick to it, what happens? It explodes. So also in the production of this, you will notice that there is a slight explosion. So when you have a bilabial sound, what are you doing? You are putting both your lips together you're putting them together. You are holding the air within, and then you are releasing it. So what do? First, close your mouth, put both the lips together, and then suddenly release the air within. So what are we doing? Let's try and say b and p. What are we doing? B and p. And now I want you to put your finger at your throat, which I mentioned some time ago. As you are speaking, if you try to speak as I'm speaking now, this part of my throat moves up and down. This is what I refer to as the Adam's apple. Now, p and b, p and b. Please say it more than once in order to understand when this moves and when it does not move. We're referring to your vocal cords. So, you have the voiced sound and the voiceless sound. So, a bilabial is the place of articulation. The manner of articulation is plosive, and whether there is vibration or not here, we call it voiced or voiceless. I'm not going to describe it to you for now, but you will see in the later chart how p and b are similar in terms of place of articulation and manner of articulation. Come on. Now let's look at the next one, which is labiodental. What happens in labiodental? Lips and teeth. Say after me, f and v. Say f and v. You will notice that what I'm doing is bringing my upper teeth onto my lower lip. Say that with me, f and v. So you've got labiodental. And it's an affricate. Why is it an affricate? Because some friction is taking place. You would notice how it's different from p and b. What happened in p and b? We held our breath and then released it. P, b. But what are we doing with f and v? Notice that on the sides of your mouth, air is still escaping. So it's not a plosive because you've not held it tight and then you have not released it. It's not an explosion. So when you have f and v, they are called affricates. So what are we talking about? Place of articulation, labiodental, and manner of articulation, affricate, fricative, nasal. Nasal, remember, I told you that the air will be released through your nose. So if you could put your hand here in front of your nose, your nostrils, and say a sound like m, you will notice that the air is coming out of your nose through the nasal passage. In the English language, we have three nasals, m, n, and ng. I'm going to show you how they are used. We are going to learn the descriptions also. But at this moment, I want you to just understand how, when a nasal sound is produced, the air escapes through the nasal cavity. Remember the first two diagrams we looked at? The oral passage and the nasal passage. So repeat after me, m, n, and ng. Say it once, m, n, ng. The second time, now that you are saying it again, put your finger in front of your nose and say m, n, ng. You can feel that slight air, the whiff of air coming out. And that is why these sounds are called nasal sounds. We also have, if you notice, in our manner of articulation, we have what are called vowel glides. Vowel glides. They are like vowels, but they are also what we call frictionless continuant. I just want you to repeat after me. Look at me and then repeat after me the sound w. Not v, which was a labiodental, but w, which is a frictionless continuant or a glide. Sorry, not a vowel glide. We are not talking of diphthongs here. We are talking of glides, but they form a part of the consonants of the English language, and we call them frictionless continuant. I want you to listen, and then think of words which begin with the letter W, the letter W,